So a few weeks ago, I put out a poll to see if I should start a series that's basically if I own ... But it would also be like predictions, kind of like almost best case scenario. In that poll, I asked what park I should do, and Fun Spot Atlanta won by a landslide. Now, I will do that park, but because I've done a bunch of Air Force One stuff lately, I just wanted to make a video that's not about Fun Spot or Six Flags, because I have done a few videos about them. So here it is. If I owned / my predictions for Carowinds. Comment if you have a better name for this series, if it is a series. Like this video. If it does well, I'll make it a series. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with 2024 because we already really know what's happening in 2023. Aeronautic landing, which looks amazing, by the way. In 2024, I'd add just some, park improvements. I'd add or retheme a restaurant, but it would mostly be like an off year because, the new aeronautical landing from 2023. What I would do is I would do a couple park improvements, maybe doing a little bit of cleaning up, although overall I think the park is really nice. But I would improve the operations because that really is an issue. They're not really the worst operations, but they could do better. 2025 would be the year of a new coaster, a new family coaster on maybe the scale of like Big Bear Mountain. It would be a coaster that everyone could enjoy, from little kid to experienced enthusiast. I'm thinking of maybe like a GCA Family Woody in the Old Rapids plot. Right now, Carowinds' lineup is very stacked when it comes from starting small and working your way up. But if I had to nitpick, I think they are missing like a family thrill coaster. They have like that family coaster, but they don't really have like a full-on family thrill coaster. Think of like, Dragon Flyer or Big Bear Mountain or Fire Chaser Express, all at Dollywood. Or I'm getting a little off topic. Think of a mini Mystic Timbers. I mean, this coaster would definitely be a success. It would make a great step up from Carolina Gold Rusher to maybe Hurler. And the price wouldn't be that bad, maybe costing around $8 to $10 million. In 2026, I do a lot of work on improving older rides and less popular rides. I'd improve Hurler by doing some retracking work, maybe get the gravity group to come in and retrack and reprofile some of the turns and hills to make it a little more extreme. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I really enjoyed Hurler on my one ride in the second row. I thought it was very smooth, and I thought it gave pretty good flow to air time. There were some parts that I wish could be fixed, so I'd fix it. This would fill in the gap of the solid, big wooden coaster. Now, you might be thinking, why wouldn't I RMC it? Well, there are already several RMCs around Carowinds, such as Twisted Cyclone, Air Force One, Lightning Rod, and I know it's kind of a stretch, but Twisted Timbers. And Iron Gwazi is also it's actually like 10 hours, so a day drive down the road. And while this wouldn't prevent an RMC hurler, this would definitely play a role. Also, RMC usually tends to do better work when they don't have a pre-existing structure and they can just build ground up. Think about Air Force One and Zodger, two of their best coasters. They didn't have any pre-existing structure that limited them. So I think that Carowinds would just go with that, especially because Twisted Timbers is not that far away. So if they wanted it to really be different, then if they wanted to build an RMC, it would have to be different from Twisted Timbers, and I really think they could do that. And it would be a lot easier if they just build it ground up. And I know this is an unpopular opinion, and this one is definitely not a prediction. It's just if I own, so just take that. I'm not predicting this. I highly doubt this will happen. This is purely just the if I owned part. But I just think that Hurler is much better off being retracked and becoming a good wooden coaster than becoming an RMC. Because again, it would just look similar to Twisted Timbers. And as for the bad roller coaster that I'd make better, Vortex, I'd just remove it. Make much better. In 2027 and 2028, I'd maybe add some smaller flat rides. For the most part, nothing would really happen. 2029 would be a big year. I'd add a B&M dive coaster in the Vortex plot of land. It would be around about 170 feet tall and would be very similar to Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego. It would feature a 92-degree drop, have 3 inversions, and could reuse Vortex Station and follow the same path of the lift hill. It would just have to be a little steeper and it would go farther back towards Carolina Gold Rusher. The layout goes as follows. It would head up the 170-foot lift hill-ish, and then it would turn around maybe a little over 180 degrees, and then we would head down the drop, maybe going into a tunnel, which could possibly make it about 200 feet. The drop would then go down into obviously an inland, because, every dive coaster. And then after that, it would be a series of, 0G rolls and turns. It's very, very similar to Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego, just maybe a little longer. I just think it wouldn't have to be necessarily the longest ride, but I think that would be a really, really good fit for Carowinds because they don't have a drop that's vertical or beyond vertical for that matter. And I just think it would just really fit. It would be really good with the placement along the midway. It would just be a GP magnet. Now, this is where I should probably end the video, because in the 2030s, the industry will be very different, and there'll be many coaster models that will be discontinued, and many that are new and can do completely unheard things. But let's just pretend the industry is frozen and the only innovation is on concepts that already exist. 2030 and 2031 will once again be off years, and 2032 is when it happens. Nighthawk reaches the end of its service life, and there was a nice big plot of land open for something special right in the front, in the middle of the park, like right up front, and it kind of will go around. So this needs to be something big, because you will be able to see this from all around the park. Something special indeed will come, and it will put Carowinds back on the map. In 2033, Carowinds' 60th anniversary, Røde will be called in to build the one, the only blue fire clone. No, it's an extreme spinner. It could be the world's fastest, the world's tallest, and the world's best spinning coaster, reaching a max height of maybe nearly 200 feet, assuming there hasn't been one that had already passed the 200-foot barrier. And it could feature RMC-like elements such as a zero-G stall and an outer banked airtime hill. This would just become another icon, just as Fury had done over 15 years before, and would give Carowinds yet another world-class roller coaster. Now, Nighthawk is a very picturesque roller coaster, and I was thinking maybe putting like an RMC here, and it could have like some of that see-through structure, the truss structure, like Air Force One, for example, and that'd be a really pretty ride. But in the end, I just thought, would you really want to put like a big wooden coaster right there? You want something that's like you can see like through, and especially I want to keep the path there that goes through Nighthawk, so I just want it to feel really open. So that's why I eventually ended up going with the extreme spinner, because I just feel like it could have something like Velocicoaster kind of, where it kind of just circles around the path, and I just really think this would be the perfect coaster to fill up Carowinds lineup, and it would just really add that final thing that Carowinds needs after the family thrill coaster and the dive coaster. So overall, I mean, I'm trying to think maybe there might be something missing, and I know some people probably won't necessarily like this list. I'm just trying to think, this is what I do that kind of financially makes sense. I'm not really like gonna go into that kind of stuff. I just know that Carowinds could afford it. And I mean, is this the best? No, I probably could have thought through it a little better, but I think the main thing everybody wants is an RMC, and I just really don't see that happening. But I do really think a GCI Woody would be great here. So I think the family Woody, similar like Invader, would be really, really good. Just maybe less of the twister layout and more like Mystic Timbers. Think of like a really, really fast, because that's another thing, like a really, really fast roller coaster that goes low to the ground, kind of like a mini Fury. That would just be really cool. And the dive coaster, that would just be GP magnet. Carowinds is going to get a dive coaster. Definitely. That's definitely a prediction. Same as the GCI Woody. The hurler stuff, I don't really think it'll happen, nor do I really want it to happen. Does it have a chance? Yes, but I highly doubt it. I'd rather have the Gravity Group do what they kind of did to, like, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, Tonnerre de Zeus at Parc Astrix. I believe that's how you say it. Like, I want them to do something kind of like that. Like, that wasn't like the best layout ever, but what they did to it made it one of the better wooden coasters in Europe. So I just really think that this is what I would like to happen, and I think this would just be like, this would really fill out Carowinds lineup, and all the worst coasters, I think, that would be fixed, and Carowinds would just have a really solid lineup after that. So yeah, that was my prediction / if I owned Carowinds. And if you enjoyed it, please make sure to like this video, and that'll show me that this video was good, and then I should make more like Fun Spot Atlanta, which will actually probably be next. Yeah, with that said, please make sure to like the video, as I just said, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos, and please make sure to have a thrilling rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.